everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Janelle Villiers, and I'm excited to be your host for the Janelle Villiers Podcast, where I talk about all things related to writing books, how to edit your book, how to publish your book, how to market the book, all the things. And a lot of times I come on here with tips for you, like I do today. Other times I interview other authors so you can hear from other authors and their experience and their journey. And sometimes I even interview people who haven't even written their book yet, but their story is totally worth sharing. So I'm excited for you because today I have a topic that I'm going to go over with you. But first, you know how I do. If you are a first-time viewer, please go ahead and put a 1 in the comment section so I can shout you out and let me know where you're tuning in from. If you are returning, if this is not your first time, if you have been here before and you are here again, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. I shout out everyone who was returning to the show. Thank you for coming back. And if what I have to share you find helpful and valuable, always put a V in the comments. Anytime you hear something that is valuable, go ahead and put a V in the comments. That just lets me know that we're doing something good. So hello, Samantha. Hello, Samantha. Good to see you. Thanks for returning. All right. So what are we talking about today? Today's topic is, why can't you commit to a book topic? Why? Why can't you do it? I know a lot of you have come to me. I've had several clients, several people who've attended my free masterclass, which is happening tonight, by the way. And you've said to me like, oh, I have all these ideas, but I'm not sure which one I should do, which direction I should go. And I get it. I get it. That you just have all these things. You're so creative. You have so many different things that you want to get across to people, so many messages that you want to share. And so it can be hard. It can be really hard to try to nail it down to one thing or the other. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about why that is and some things that you can do to help get you there, to think about one topic or another for which to write your book. So, okay. So if you've been here before, you already know I have notes because I don't want you to miss a thing. So I have notes so that way we can go over all the different things that are important for you to know in regards to this topic. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is that the reason why this can be really hard for people to choose a topic is because a lot of time experts see too much to choose easily. You just see a lot, right? So because you're now an expert or you have like a lot of experience in one thing, this basically expands what you can see. It kind of like expands your vision, really. And so because your vision is now expanded, you can't really see only one idea. You now see all of these ideas that you could be working on. And sometimes they all seem valid, and I totally get that. And so because all of them seem valid, it almost feels like you can't make a choice. Like any choice is going to be the wrong choice. And a lot of times that's where we get stuck. What you'll see, though, is that beginners, people who have just started, they go super quick because they haven't really gotten into the layers of the context that are involved with certain things. And so experts are more likely to hesitate because they see the nuance, they see potential consequences and all of that. So this isn't like a flaw or anything. It's just kind of like a side effect of being really good or knowing a lot about what you know, being an expert. And so that's, I think, the biggest difference is that experts can imagine multiple audiences. They can imagine multiple outcomes, and they can sometimes already even see the follow-up book from the first book. And every topic feels like it could be wrong because maybe it's not as comprehensive as you want it to be. You feel like, oh man, like I can do so much more. And that is where I think we need to kind of make a mindset shift. And so this would be my tip. Remind yourself that the book is not a place for you to put every single thing that you know. It's only a doorway into how you think as a person. So choose one meaningful slice that solves one real problem for one real reader. And then go deep into that, because that depth is what creates credibility way faster than any kind of like big range or anything like that. I see Giraffe is coming in from Long Island. Hey. So, okay, that's the first thing. So if that's really relatable to you, go ahead and put 1 in the comments so I know that that was a particular relatable concept. The second thing I wanted to go over is that for a lot of experts, commitment can feel like you're actually taking a loss. Like it's a big L. So when you're super skilled, you kind of know a lot of different things. And so choosing one direction can feel like you're giving something up, like you're losing something. And I think a lot of times experts fear that they could be wrong. So if you give up this one thing, that might have been the wrong choice, or you may even fear that you're being misunderstood. And what I want you to know is that this fear of being boxed in by your own work and the worry about like maybe you're going to evolve later in the future. And so this now is going to feel like you're being limited, that you're being forced to let go of something when you're not necessarily ready to do that. And so the tip for this is that if you're feeling this way, just understand that choosing one topic doesn't make you smaller of an expert. It actually gives people a very clear place in order to start with you. They're like, oh, okay, this is where I begin with them right here. They know. And if they don't know that, like if you have this broad range, then they spend most of their time trying to figure out what you're about. So what you're doing is not necessarily abandoning one particular idea or abandoning a particular skill set or a piece of knowledge that you have. You're actually just giving people a way in which to reach you in a sequence that they can follow. Okay, so I want you to change your mindset there. If that was point number 2, if that was really helpful for you, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. The third point that I wanted to bring out is that I think we have this thing that what happens when we become experts is that like it kind of creates our identity. And it doesn't necessarily represent the ideas that we have. So a book can feel really permanent in a way that content, when you're doing social media content and things like that, it doesn't really feel that permanent when you're doing content. Because, posts disappear, the videos get buried under like millions of other videos that you're doing, all the things. So, but a book feels like this public statement that you're declaring who you are. And this can create this fear that you might outgrow your words, that like 10 years from now, those words won't really resonate, or you won't necessarily believe in them, or you figured out a new way. And so you worry about the fact that your ideas may evolve, that you may evolve. And I think there's confusion around that. You confuse growth with contradiction. I think that's really where the real fear is. And so the tip that I want to give you, this feels like if you're like, I feel like I might be contradicting myself later in the future. We talked about this earlier in another episode, and I just want to remind you that the book is not a contract. It's literally just this little snapshot, right? It's a photo in time of like where you are in your thoughts and your expertise. And it captures what you believe and what you understand right now. And if you grow, if you develop, if you learn more, that's not betraying your work. It's not. The book is now not betrayed just because you've grown and you've thought of a new way. It's just proof that what you did mattered, especially at that moment and in that time. It was really important. And guess what? Then you have a follow-up book, right? Or maybe a secondary edition or a third edition to that book because you've grown, you've learned more, you have more things to share. So if number 3 was really important to you, Samantha put a V, so you're finding a lot of this valuable. Awesome. If number 3, if that resonates with you, go ahead and put a 3 in the comment section. All right, let's talk about point number 4. I think we've all been there as people who might be small business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people who teach courses, people who coach people. You might feel like having so many options somehow creates this belief that you're being productive. I said it. But you're not necessarily being productive. I think we're really good at staying busy without necessarily moving forward. You're writing outlines, you're doing research, you're like brainstorming, all these things, because that feels familiar. It feels safe. You're not necessarily putting yourself out there, but choosing a topic, that doesn't feel safe, right? You're now like making a declaration almost like. And so planning feels like nothing's really finalized yet, right? Like you can keep working on it. There's no real risky decision being made. And it feels like you're in motion, even though you're not necessarily really in motion. So here's the tip that I want to give you. Here's the thing that I want you to start thinking about if you're feeling like this may be you. Pay attention to when the preparing for something replaces actually making a decision. And if you're revisiting the same outline or ideas over and over and over again, This is not refining. You're literally avoiding. You're avoiding making a decision to choose which book you're going to do first. And I've said this to so many people. Let's just choose one. We can write all of the books, but we just need to choose one and get that done so that way we can work on the others. All right. If number 4 really resonated with you, please put a 4 in the comments so I know that's resonating with you. All right. The 5th topic that I wanted to talk about is that your book topic is a leadership choice. Really, so leadership is not about presenting every option. I'm speaking to myself with this one. I think I like to give people a ton of options as well. But actually, true leadership isn't doing that. I mean, if you're giving options like the menu at, we all know this restaurant, and of course now I'm blanking on the name of it. I was just talking about it this weekend. There's a restaurant that has a really, really crazy menu. It feels overwhelming because of the number of choices that you get. If you know the restaurant I'm talking about, go ahead and put it in the comments. It's a chain. We all know it. We all know it. Anyway, but you know how that feels, right? You get to the restaurant, you open the menu and just like, oh my God, like how are there all of these choices? This seems crazy. And it's hard. It's hard to make a decision that way. And so if you're leading people with that, if you're leading people by giving them all of these different choices, that's actually not giving them clarity. It's making things more confused or making them more confused or creating confusion. And so I would offer to you that actually getting really clear and choosing is going to help the people that you're looking to help in the first place. The thing is, leaders create clarity. They create clarity before they expand and give different options. And so people are looking at books for focus and perspective and that depth. But if you give too much range, this is going to create a bit of confusion for the reader. They're not really going to know, wait, so which way are you saying? Which way should I go, right? So a clear book is going to feel 10 times safer than one that feels comprehensive, that covers everything. So here's the mindset shift that I want you to have for this one. Ask yourself which topic best serves the people that you want to lead right now. Just now, not forever, not 10 years from now, not everyone, just the people that you want to lead right now. Okay, so if that was helpful, if number 5 resonated with you, please put number 5 in the comments. Heck yes, Samantha, leaders create. This is so true. Leaders, I mean, I want to reinforce that. Leaders create clarity. That is a big, big thing. If you're feeling confused, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like, I don't know what's going on, that's not a sign of great leadership. It's just not. Okay, the 6th point that I want to give is that the fix is direction, not a perfect topic. So experts often believe that clarity must come before the writing. And I want to tell you, this is the real shift for my experts out there. You really believe that clarity you believe that it must come before the writing. And I want to tell you that the reality is clarity comes from the writing. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Clarity comes from the writing, not before it. If you're waiting for the perfect idea to like create this momentum for you, it's just not going to happen. It's just not. I'm going to be honest with you. If you have all these different ideas, no. Start down one path. Think of that one reader, that one topic that you want to serve right now and start writing for that one person. And then the clarity starts to come in a major, major way. But I'm telling you, if you sit and you think and you outline and you prepare and you do the research, it's just not going to come. What happens is that writing reveals what matters most. And that kind of momentum is going to sharpen your thinking. It's going to give you specific direction for your readers. And that's the part that's really important. And I think we get lost in that it needs to be perfect for some reason, but that is not it. It's perfection is just going to lead you to sit in one place and never move forward and think that you're moving forward because you're doing research and you're thinking about it and all the things, but you're not going anywhere. Let's be real. You're not. So the mindset shift that I want you to have for this one is that choose the topic you can stand behind today. Again, not forever, not 10 years from now, right now. You are allowed to evolve later. You have permission to evolve later. In fact, it's going to happen because if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So I imagine that since you're still here on this planet and you're still living and breathing, you are going to grow. You're going to evolve. And you're not required to solve your entire future in one book. You're just not. That's not it. This is just right now for this person. one message right now for this person. All right. If that was helpful, go ahead and put a 6 in the comment section so I know. Awesome. I got some eyeballs from Samantha. I hear you. Okay. So the 7th thing that I wanted to talk about is how to choose without regret. And this probably feels like the hardest thing to do, but I actually think it could be the easiest once you understand maybe a framework around it. I want you to identify who the book is for. That's really what it comes down to. Who is this book for? What are the key points and lessons that you want the reader to take away with them after they finish reading your book? So focus on them. What do you want the reader to get from your book? This removes honestly, half of the options that you've been thinking about are immediately removed just by switching the flip from what do you want to say to what you want the readers to learn. And then clarify the transformation that it offers. I want you to recognize that books sell outcomes, not necessarily the information. This is really what you're selling. So you want people to understand the transformation that they're going to get from reading your book. What are those things that they're going to learn? And then once you choose alignment over like, oh, this feels safe, that's how you know that the right topic will feel slightly uncomfortable, but deeply honest. And you got to commit to finishing that before revising what you already have. Just commit to writing what you currently have right now. The revisions come later. You're going to get editors anyway. So just get it out. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Completion is what brings the clarity that planning never will. It just won't, guys. Getting it done, getting it out, and then you go back and revisit. And you're like, oh yeah, let me change this. Let me fix this. The editing process is a huge part of that. It's all helpful towards that. All right. So if number 7 really resonates with you, go ahead and put a 7 in the comments. And here we are. So those are the major 7 points that I wanted to bring across with you. 7 is in numerology is the number for completion. So hopefully this feels complete to you. But as always, I'm just going to review the 7 main points that we talked about. If you're watching the live, go ahead and put an L in the comments. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put an R in the comments, because I love to shout out even the people who are watching the replay. And so here's what we talked about. We talked about 7 main points as it relates to you not being able to choose the topic that you want to write about. And the first thing we talked about is that experts see too much. You just see too much. And so everything looks like it's going to work, that it's a possibility. The other thing that we talked about is that for a lot of times experts feel like when you commit to something that you have to lose something, that you're losing a thought, a process, a vision, an idea. And that's really not the truth, because expanding the book and expanding for it to cover everything is actually going to lose your readers more than anything. And I want you to recognize that there is a bit of a paradox. This is the third point, where experts believe that your identity is wrapped up in this book, not necessarily your ideas. And so I want you to just flip that and recognize it's your ideas that are being represented, and they're going to grow. They're going to evolve. The fourth thing that we talked about is that, honestly, guys, when you have too many options, it creates this false sense of productivity. You think you're being productive because you're researching, you're outlining, you're trying to figure it out, but you're really going nowhere. You're just spinning your wheels. The fifth thing that we talked about is that your book topic is a leadership choice. Leadership is about creating clarity. And so in order to be clear, you have to make a decision, and you have to talk about one thing. You can't give them too many options. It just isn't going to work. The sixth thing that we talked about is that you want to choose the direction that you're going. You want to think of that one reader that you want to help right now and write the book for them. What do you want the reader to take away with them after they finish reading your book? Change that focus, and it'll really help you decide which topic you're going to be doing. And then the last and seventh thing that we talked about is how to choose without regret. And it goes back to, who is this book for? Figure out exactly what you want them to learn after they read your book, and recognize that the clarity comes from writing the thing, not from thinking about the thing. So you got to actually write. You got to commit to writing, because you know that that's what's going to get you to the clarity. Honestly and truly, that's it right there. Okay, so I just want you to remember that you're not stuck because you somehow lack ideas or that you're lazy or anything like that. You're stuck because basically, guys, you just care. You care. And you're thinking about whether you're going to choose well or not choose well. And I want you to recognize, after all of these things that we've talked about today, that your book does not need to have the perfect topic. You just need to be committed to one topic. And leadership comes when you provide people with clarity. So choosing a direction that others can follow is the best thing that you can do before you actually even feel fully ready. All right. I hope you guys feel like this has been helpful. Again, if you found this valuable, go ahead and put a V in the comments. I see someone made a comment. I can testify clarity comes with the writing. Yes, that's right, Rebecca. It is so true. It does. It does. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back next week, same time, same channel. I look forward to seeing you all then. Bye.